Germany broadcasting, people of Britain, greetings from the Third Reich. This is the voice you have learned to fear. This is the voice of terror. Again we bring you disaster, crushing, humiliating disaster. It is folly to stand against the mighty wrath of the Fuhrer. Do you need more testimony of his invincible might to bring you to your knees? Very well. Are you ready, operative number 7? This is the voice of terror. A secret airplane factory somewhere in England. Listen, the screams of the dying can still be heard. This is the voice of terror. Are you there, people of Britain, shivering in your cellars? Listen, operative 41. The fuse is lighted. Oil to fuel your navy, to feed your tanks. There it goes up in smoke by the millions of gallons. This is the voice of terror. Do you still believe that there are secrets unknown to the Fuhrer? Listen. Tonight at 7:10, an important diplomat boarded a train at a little station outside Liverpool. Each split second is accounted for. The rails divide. The train hurtles through the air. The diplomat will make no report in London. This is the voice of terror. Englishmen, do you still await your doom in your stupid, stuffy little clubs? It will come, I promise you. Operative 23, the time is now. We strike you on the high seas, as well as on the land. This is the voice of terror. Englishmen, the Fuhrer strikes you now as he pleases. Water pours through your greatest dam, smashing everything before it, even as our invincible armies roll toward their objectives.
Despite the effective work done by the Intelligence Inner Council, jailing fifth columnists and saboteurs, despite their efficiency in coordinating military strategy based on information of enemy movements, they seem unable to cope with the voice of terror. Already 6 military catastrophes have occurred. The unmitigated nerve of the press. Now they're attacking us.
At last the fellow to kingdom come. If only we could keep this insidious stuff off the air. I'm not sure that I agree with you. What purpose would that serve?
Well, the people wouldn't have to listen to it.
I've been talking to Crosby, the radio technician. If we want him jammed off the air, Crosby can do it.
I've been working along other lines. I've asked Mr. Sherlock Holmes to come here. What? Sherlock Holmes? This isn't a case for a private detective, it's a matter of state. In this emergency, we should take advantage of everyone's peculiar gifts. Mr. Holmes is the most subtle and extraordinary private investigator of our time.
Are you intimating that the Army and Navy intelligence plus Scotland Yard are not equal to the occasion, Sir Evan?
I'm sure they're equal to any occasion. They've done a marvelous job of lining up fifth columnists, saboteurs, and keeping us informed of the enemy's movements. But the voice of terror seems to have them stumped. Sherlock Holmes may have a new approach that will solve the problem.
What's happened inside these walls has always been secret. We don't want any outsiders here. I'm positively and irrevocably opposed to calling in Sherlock Holmes.
Perhaps you'll change your mind.
I see nothing whatever to make me do so.
Prentice is right.
For ordinary criminal investigation, Holmes is excellent, but not for this. He's unorthodox and theatrical. I can tell you all about him.
Gentlemen, perhaps I can throw some light on the subject myself. Holmes, how are you? So good of you to come. Good afternoon, Sir Evan. Your card opened all doors.
Oh, Blouser! Oh, you've put on a little weight since you left school.
You don't look any younger yourself, Dimples. How are you?
Fine. Come in, won't you? You know these gentlemen?
I think so. How do you do?
I haven't had that pleasure.
May I introduce my friend and associate, Dr. Watson?
How do you do?
I'm afraid I've arrived at an embarrassing moment.
Not at all.
This gentleman here,
Admiral Sir John Prentice.
Admiral Prentice, objects most strongly to my being called in.
How could you possibly infer that?
From the carpet.
Carpet?
A man who rises from his chair and digs his heels sternly into the carpet is violently opposed to something, and the Admiral, being quite distressed by the criticisms of the press, would be most apt to resent my intrusion.
Well,
You've just arrived from Sevenoaks.
yes, of course. How on earth did you know that?
Oh, pardon my mentioning it, but adhering to your left boot heel is a variety of clay known only in Sevenoaks.
An amazing piece of deduction.
Elementary, my dear Barham.
Here's a broadcast of the Voice of Terror. Greetings from the Third Reich. Are you listening, stout fellows across the channel? Are you listening, you little body of incompetent men known as the Inner Council? Today, a new thrill, a new proof of the invincibility of the Fuhrer. Right now, a crack express train laden with British troops and nurses is speeding across England. In just one moment, it will leave the rails forever, crashing twisted metal, the cries of the dying.
They can't.
Now,
They wouldn't dare. It's impossible. They couldn't have got on
the
to
men
it.
are laughing, joking. That one in the third car reads a letter from home. It is the last letter he will ever receive. The train is rounding a curve. Its whistle is screaming. Farewell, it is saying. Farewell. You have just heard an exact reproduction of the way it sounds, the way it must actually be. The hearts of the German people bleed that innocent men and women have to be killed because your stupid war men...
Shaw speaking. Have you any news of the Liverpool Express?
Time and time again offered in peace. But if your blundering war cabinet cannot see that England is already lost, then it is our sacred German duty to prove it to them over and over and over until they are on their knees, begging, pleading, groveling for the exquisite mercy of our Fuhrer. Each night, the Voice of Terror will announce...
Shut it off.
death blow, struck
Stop
the
it.
heart of England. Even as you listen, and you...
I'm sorry.
Do what you can, Holmes. This frightful thing has got to be stopped.
His son was on that train.
How did they find out about the truce? It was an absolute secret.
Gentlemen, something must be done about this thing at once.
Yes. First of all, then, the voice must not be blocked off the air.
But he's a menace. All over the Empire, this horrible news is broadcast, blown up out of all proportions. The world is beginning to believe it. Even our allies are counting England out. People are frightened, panicky.
The British people are not so easily panicked.
It's dangerous, I tell you, to let this thing go on.
Dangerous, yes, Captain Shaw. But we must continue to listen.
What for? So that we can keep on guessing who it is?
His identity is not important. The important thing is the purpose behind this campaign of terror.
Purpose indeed. Isn't it enough that our most secret plans are known? Our ships are being destroyed, our trains wrecked?
I'm convinced that these disasters are only a prelude, a smokescreen, to cover up a more diabolic plan. And I intend to find out what that plan is.
This council and Scotland Yard will give you all the aid you require.
Thank you. Gentlemen, my connection with this case must remain absolutely secret. You understand that, of course.
Why, certainly.
You will let the council know at all times just what you're doing.
I shall give you such information as I think wise to disclose in the interests of safety, both the public's and your own.
The Inner Council has never shared its secrets with anyone. I demand that you keep us informed of your activities and progress.
Come along, Watson.
Mr. Holmes, I want to apologize for your rather lukewarm reception here.
Oh, thank you, Sir Evan. I'm used to the chilly atmosphere of high places.
And of course, you recognize the importance of time.
Quite. And results.
Mr. Lloyd, I'm quite sure that Mr. Holmes can be trusted not to fail. He never has, you know.
Thank you, Watson. The word is seldom. Goodbye, Sir Evan.
Goodbye, sir.
Goodbye, Barham.
Goodbye, Watson.
Shall we walk for a bit or take a taxi?
I'm afraid we have no choice.
Huh?
No, Watson. I have a feeling that when we go out of that door, a girl will be waiting.
A girl? What do you mean?
A young lady whom neither of us has ever seen before will come forward to greet us.
Holmes, now you're pulling my leg again.
Mr. Holmes, I'm Jill Grandis.
How do you do? This is my friend, Dr. Watson.
How do you do?
How do you do?
I've been assigned to drive you around.
Thank you.
Good gracious me.
Where do you wish to go?
Baker Street.
I know, 221B.
Come on, Watson. Hurry up, old fellow.
Holmes, the girl waiting. Well, what an extraordinary thing.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
No, it's an amazing deduction. How on earth did you arrive at it?
Barham told me.
Huh? Oh, don't you worry, Mrs. Hudson. Just giving her a bit of a clean. Now we're on a case again. The joints are a bit rusty, like mine, you know.
Is he back in a case again?
Case? The greatest case of our career.
Oh, mercy, it always is.
Holmes. I say, Holmes.
What?
That's right. Well, if you ask me, it's disgraceful.
Beethoven's Fifth? Not at all. It's very good. Sir Ronald Headley's conducting very well tonight.
I don't mean the concert.
No?
England's in danger. Heaven knows what frightful disaster's happening, and you sit there calmly listening to the wireless.
Music hath charms. Very restful.
That's got nothing to do with the whole...
Contrary, my dear Watson, it may have a great deal to do with it.
Oh, really? I don't see what.
BBC Request Station, this is Sherlock Holmes. I understand you play recordings. Would you mind playing Beethoven's Fifth, conducted by Sir Ronald Headley? Thank you very much.
But you just heard it.
I like it.
Huh?
We've had a request for the Beethoven Fifth Symphony, played by the London Symphony Orchestra under the direction of Sir Ronald Headley. This is a transcription.
What's all that about? I say, Holmes, I don't think... Shh.
Mr. Holmes.
Yes, Gavin?
Christopher.
Dead?
Yes. It's been driven in with a lot of force.
Watson, this is a warning.
Warning? How do you know?
I had sent for Gavin to get certain information that you must have found there in the dark and sinister alleys of Limehouse. He came with his message, which someone doesn't want me to hear, someone determined and dangerous.
What's the good of a warning of danger? You don't know from what or from whom?
That we shall have to discover. This knife was thrown by the tip, from a distance of about 50 feet, by a man about 5'10".
Steady, Holmes.
Elementary. No fingerprints.
But the distance and the man's height.
The angle of entry. And the force with which he penetrated the victim.
But Holmes, what do you suppose he meant when he said Christopher?
We must find out at once. Come along, Watson.
Huh?
Come in.
Oh, Mr. Holmes, I saw a fella lurking about your steps tonight. Blimey, he won't lurk no more.
From the yard. Take care of it, Dobson.
Very good, sir. How did it happen?
Haven't time now. Get your coat on, Watson. We're going out.
No. Holmes, you promised.
Oh.
Where are we going?
Limehouse.
Certainly wise of you to let Miss Grandis go. This is no place for the girl or anyone else.
Yet there seem to be people about. Even Miss Grandis. If I'm not mistaken, she's keeping an eye on us.
You're Mr. Sherlock Holmes, ain't you?
Yes.
I wouldn't come down here if I was you. This is Limehouse, and we don't fancy your sort of bloke in these parts.
The fellow's absolutely right. Hadn't we better be...
Quiet, Watson. This is still a free country. A man may walk where he pleases.
And live to regret it.
Live, yes. Regret it, I think not. Step back. Come on, Watson.
Unfriendly, what?
Speak a break.
What was that, Holmes?
It's all right, quiet.
I can't see a thing.
Luckily for us, neither can they. Apparently, the enemy has found out that we joined forces with the government.
What makes you think that?
This knife, like the knife which killed Gavin, was thrown by a former habitué of the docks of Hamburg. It's a German knife. The knife throwers of Hamburg are extremely expert.
Mr. Holmes, can't we come back in the daytime?
Certainly not.
I don't think we're safe.
No one in the world is safe now, Watson. Least of all us.
What is it, O'Grady?
Don't tell me that you don't recognize me.
Mr. Sherlock Holmes. I got a specially ugly lot here tonight.
I'll take my chances.
I can't keep you up, Mr. Holmes, but...
Where's the girl, Kitty? Gavin's sweetheart. His wife. Can you get her? It's urgent.
Try.
Holmes, I don't think I like this place much.
Well, just sit here if you don't mind. I think you'll recognize me, Mr. Holmes, if you look hard enough.
Camberwell.
You've got a long memory. Like me.
Tarleton murder, 1932. Of course, I sent you up.
Mr. Holmes, don't you think we better be...
Stow your gab. For 10 long years, I've been sitting down there in Dartmoor, For the old 10 years, one thing's been preying on my mind.
Only one?
Just one. Someday I'll be getting out of here, I kept saying to myself. And when I do, someday I'm going to come face to face with Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Now you are.
And now I am. Just who was it told you it was me who slit the throat of that swine Tarleton? I want an answer.
You told me.